what is up guys, Deadset here. In this video I'll go over the spec that I recommend to Season 6 Crusaders with the set that you receive for free at the start. I'll go over both the early game progression build as well as the end game progression variant that you can transition into. Let's go. Every new season offers you a one-time opportunity to quickly get a character to decent farming potential through a system called Hedrig's Gifts. The gifts are obtained by completing stages of the season journey, with 3 different achievements, each granting 2 pieces of a predetermined class-specific set. You can view the stages of the season journey at any time by clicking the yellow chapter button in the top right corner of the screen, to the right of the difficulty marker. In this example we're using a Crusader, but this is applicable to every class. Each Hedrig's gift appears as in-game mail, accessible via the mail button in the lower left corner of the screen, next to the chat button. Claiming the gift puts it in your inventory, where you can open it similarly to a bounty cache. The first of Hedrig's gifts is rewarded upon reaching level 70. The second of Hedrig's gifts is rewarded upon killing Izuul, the mini-boss in the Great Span, the area connected to the Silver Spire level 1, on Torment 2 or higher. Note the difference to Season 5, where the required boss was Zoltan Kulle. The third and final of Hedrig's gifts is rewarded upon soloing Greater Rift level 20. If you prefer to gauge your capability to complete it in time, it's roughly equivalent to a Torment 4 Rift. After you open the 3 gifts, you'll have all the necessary pieces to attain the full set bonus. The starting setup for a Season 6 Crusader that I recommend is a mixture of the full 6-piece bonus of Akkhan and the 2-piece bonus of the Invoker set. This mixture allows for an alternative Thorns setup that is roughly equal in power to the pure Invoker build. This guide goes over both the early progression spec, aimed at efficient Torment runs and low to mid-tier Greater Rifts, as well as the solo progression modifications. This is a tanky and cooldown-centric playstyle. Before I talk about the spec, I want to point out that in order to guarantee the quality of the build, the Torment 10 demonstration has been done with reset Paragons, no augments on gear, and legendary gems upgraded to the bare minimum of level 25. If that convinces you, I urge you to spend all of your blood shards early on in an effort to obtain the Invoker bracers and another Invoker piece of your choosing. It does not matter which, you're only aiming to complete the 2-piece Invoker bonus. Similarly to the Invoker spec, the Akkhan and Invoker hybrid thrives in face tanking damage and reflecting it back. The notable difference is the guaranteed permanent Akarat champion, due to the involvement of the Akkhan set, so use this vital steroid skill on cooldown. In the farming playstyle, you'll combine the powers of the staple Steed Charge with the speedrun specific Laws of Hope Wings of Angels to achieve some of the best speed available to Crusaders. In progression, the latter will be replaced by a more defensive choice, with Laws of Justice decaying strength, preventing enemies from bursting you down. Once you run into a large group of enemies, you'll draw them in with a quick Condemn Vacuum in speedruns, or provoke them in smaller packs in progression, and pummel away with Punish. Running from an elite to elite is the preferred tactic for the build, and with the help of either a cubed Ingiom in speeds, or Akarat's Awakening in progression, you'll have Iron Skin Reflective Skin up for every fight, which in turn will guarantee its quick resolution by skyrocketing your Thorns damage. While its role is somewhat lesser than a pure Invoker build, Punish remains a vital source of Thorns amplification, 1.4 multiplier with optimized stats, as well as additional Justice Lantern damage reduction from the Hardened Senses bonus. The preferred rune is the attack speed oriented Celerity, helping you reach over the 2 APS breakpoint with optimized stats. Similarly to other Thorns builds, you'll be taking Iron Skin for its nuke-like effect with Reflective Skin. Minimizing its downtime as much as possible is a key factor for including high cooldown reduction on gear and focusing on elite fights for Ingiom procs or Akarat's Awakening resets. In Speed Farm, you'll be taking Condemn strictly for the drawing power of the Vacuum rune, assisting you in gathering a larger group of enemies within the Thorns application range than Provoke can in a single cycle. However, in progression Provoke is recommended due to its interaction with Vutoya's Spiker, as well as the Hit Me rune synergy with Justice Lantern and the cubed Akarat's Awakening. Akkhan's champion is a centerpiece in Akkhan set builds, and the Invoker hybrid is no exception. The benefit of Prophet's 150% additional armor and second life are augmented by the newfound change to the 35% damage bonus, switched into a multiplicative source. The Prophet cheat death is very influential, because similarly to other Thorns specs, the Akkhan and Invoker hybrid uses a rigid passive setup that makes it hard to fit Indestructible in. Two movement speed related choices round out the active skill slots: Laws of Hope Wings of Angels and Steed Charge Endurance. When it comes to personal mobility, Steed Charge is a staple of the class, adding a hefty 3-second burst of speed with the recommended Endurance rune. Laws of Hope has a moderately useful base effect, granting a passive life regeneration bonus and an active damage absorption shield. When it comes to speedrun utility, however, the rune Wings of Angels is unrivaled, with its 50% movement speed bonus and collision negating effect, similar to the power of Illusory Boots. To top things off, the bonuses are party-wide, making it a great addition to any group. In solo progression, you should swap Laws into Laws of Justice for the percentage-based protection of Decaying Strength. This concludes the overview of the active skills. Now let us look through the passives. Thorns builds completely disregard weapon damage in favor of cooldown reduction and attack speed, making Fervor a natural inclusion with its superb 15% attack speed and cooldown reduction. This passive makes reaching the 56% cooldown reduction breakpoint for permanent Akkhan's champion that much easier. A choice that needs no explanation, Iron Maiden increases your Thorns damage by 50%. Even though the speedrun setup does not include a cubed Akkhan's Awakening like the progression spec does, Hold Your Ground is an all-around great choice to solidify the protection provided by Justice Lantern. Finery rounds out your passives by increasing strength with 1.5% for every socket across your gear, weapons and jewelry included. As Thorns damage is affected by strength, the benefits of this passive amount to a sizable boost, with an assumed average of 10 sockets on a well-equipped character. The build takes the combined power of Armor of Akkhan and Thorns of the Invoker, taking 5 pieces and 2 pieces of each set respectively, and cubing a Ring of Royal Grandeur to reduce the number of items for set bonus completion by 1. The Akkhan chest and Invoker bracers are taken as mandatory, since they do not conflict between the two sets for the respective slot. Along with the bracer, the Invoker set needs to occupy one more slot of your choosing, either gloves, shoulders, helm, pants, or boots. Simply pick according to your best rolled items. Rolls-wise, this cooldown and attack speed centric build benefits from CDR on both shoulders and gloves, along with an attack speed roll on the latter. Physical damage is recommended on the bracers, as Thorns damage benefits from the element. The remaining pieces, helm, chest, pants, and boots, can be entirely dedicated to toughness. Keep in mind that unlike Invoker, the Akkhan set does not roll Thorns damage naturally, so you need to prioritize it in the secondary stats. The ability to store the powers of Ring of Royal Grandeur in the Kanai's cube opens up various offensive jewelry combinations. The suggested speed farm setup is a balance of offense with Stone of Jordan and Hellfire Amulet, and defense with Justice Lantern. While you can still use the Endless Walk set in speedruns, you'll mostly benefit from its damage reduction properties, which ends up as overkill in the protection department. Following this suggestion, you get the consistent damage buff from Stone of Jordan and gain great utility from a well-rolled Hellfire Amulet, ideally allowing you to run Long Arm of the Law, thus gaining permanent uptime of Wings of Angels. In progression, you should swap into the Endless Walk set. The Compass Rose Ring and the Traveler's Pledge Amulet add a unique mechanic that slowly increases your damage by up to 100% if you remain stationary, and drains it away and increases your damage reduction while moving. This balance mimics the Thorns playstyle, which fights firmly in one place for long periods of time, with quick and short runs to the next enemy pack. The standard suggestion for your second ring slot is Justice Lantern, whose natural block rolls augment its legendary power, reducing damage taken by up to 55% of your block chance. This option is more consistent and better early on, when paragons are lower and gear has not been perfected. A high-end optimization variation for the slot is Avery's Band, socketed with Boon of the Hoarder and paired with a gold wrap as your belt. This will result in a practically invulnerable and faster moving build, but will require a lot of Act 3 cash farm, as Every's Band has a natural crit chance roll which is redundant in the build, making it harder to perfect. The tankiest belt in the game, the melee damage reducing String of Years, is recommended for progression. It can also be used for safer speed farming with lesser gear. Other options include Vigilante belt for its cooldown reduction bonuses, or a gold wrap for a highly optimized speed farm setup. Thorns builds use weapons as stat sticks, preferring strength, cooldown reduction, attack speed, and even rolling damage range away in favor of a fourth synergistic stat like life per hit. When first progressing with the character, any one-handed weapon with the correct rolls can do. Nailbiter and Neanderthal for their natural Thorns rolls, Doombringer with the natural physical roll, or Picksticker with its 5 primary stats. Ideally, you'll use Hack, an axe whose unique property applies up to 100% of your Thorns damage to every attack, now properly benefiting from all sources of bonus damage. Similarly to the weapon slot, you can initially use any shield with the appropriate stats. The best in slot option for speedruns will be a physical damage lidless wall, offering a consistent and cooldown independent upfront burst. In progression, however, you should consider using Vutoya's Spiker, which now applies fully buffed Thorns damage to enemies affected by Provoke. Your 3 jewelry sockets will be taken up by the legendary gems Bane of the Trapped, Boyarsky's Chip, and Bane of the Powerful in speedruns, or Bane of the Stricken in progression. Bane of the Trapped is a potent source of additional damage, as it is its own multiplier in your total damage calculation. The gem procs itself with its level 25 property, and matches the set Thorns radius perfectly. Boyarsky's Chip fulfills a simple and straightforward purpose, increasing your Thorns damage. Its level 25 property is useful in sticking enemies to you, trading turns with Provoke for the same purpose. Reworked in patch 2.41, Bane of the Powerful occupies the third and final jewelry socket during Torment farming. It provides a 20% damage bonus, now multiplicative, for a duration that scales excellently with levels. Its level 25 bonus both increases damage against and decreases damage from elites, cementing the playstyle of the elite hunting build. When aiming for GR progression, however, swap this slot for Bane of the Stricken. This gem builds up your damage multiplicatively in prolonged fights, and has a level 25 bonus specifically targeting Rift Guardians, chewing through the biggest obstacle in greater rifts, the scaling health numbers. The Kanai's Cube recommendations are as follows: Ingyom in speeds or Akarat's Awakening in progression for the weapon slot, Nemesis Bracers in speeds or Aquila Caress in progression for the armor slot, and of course Ring of Royal Grandeur for the jewelry slot. When farming Torment content, the weapon cube slot should be occupied by Ingyom, shaving 10 seconds off of the cooldown of all of your skills after you kill an elite pack. This effect has a generous 15-second duration, during which you're almost guaranteed to find a new elite pack and refresh its bonuses. When pushing your Greater Rift limits, fights slow down significantly, making Akarat's Awakening block-based cooldown resetting more attractive for the slot. To assist the hunting playstyle of the build in normal rifts, as well as to ensure a streak of Ingyom procs, you'll cube Nemesis Bracers in the armor slot for their elite summoning powers at shrines and pylons. In Greater Rift progression, or at any point that you feel your survival lacking, it is perfectly acceptable to cube Aquila Caress in the slot instead, for its massive damage reduction bonuses. The final item to tie the two sets together is the Ring of Royal Grandeur, a cash legendary ring from Act 1 bounties. The ability to run with 6-piece Akkhan bonuses on top of better rings, dodging the undesirable guaranteed stats on the Grandeur by cubing its power, is a tremendous boost to the build. In the Paragon points, max out movement speed to the 25% cap and spend the rest on strength in the core section. Prioritize cooldown reduction and then attack speed in offense. All resistance followed by life percentage and then armor in defense. And finally focus on area damage and life per hit in utility. And this is it for the in-depth look at the Akkhan and Invoker Hybrid Crusader in patch 2.41. You can find the full written version linked in the description, as well as a Google spreadsheet linking to my detailed guides for every build in Diablo 3, of course in the process of revision to patch 2.41. I hope you enjoyed this guide, and if you did, I would appreciate your subscription to my channel. talk to me on Twitter and Facebook that are linked below, and I will see you guys next time.